Top 10 scariest horror movies of all time. Have you ever watched a horror movie so terrifying that it stayed with you long after the credits rolled? The kind of film that keeps you looking over your shoulder, double-checking locked doors, and avoiding dark hallways at night? Well, brace yourself, because we're diving into the top 10 scariest horror movies of all time. Films that have haunted audiences for years and continue to do so. If you think you can handle the fear, keep watching. But don't say I didn't warn you. At number 10, we have The Conjuring, 2013, a film that redefined modern horror with its masterful blend of supernatural terror and psychological suspense. Directed by James Wan, this chilling tale is based on the real-life cases of renowned paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. The story follows the Perron family, who move into an old farmhouse in Rhode Island, only to find themselves tormented by an ominous presence lurking within the walls. As the eerie occurrences escalate from strange noises to terrifying apparitions, the family turns to the Warrens for help, uncovering the house's dark and sinister history. What makes The Conjuring truly unsettling is not just its spine-chilling cinematography or well-executed jump scares, but the fact that its horror is rooted in real events. The slow-building tension keeps viewers on edge, creating a constant feeling that something is lurking in the shadows, watching, waiting, and when the horror finally strikes, it delivers an unforgettable, pulse-pounding experience. Coming in at number 9 is Hereditary, 2018, a psychological horror masterpiece that doesn't just scare, it deeply disturbs. What begins as a tragic family drama soon spirals into a nightmarish descent into supernatural horror, exposing the darkest recesses of grief, guilt, and fate. Directed by Ari Aster, the film follows Annie Graham and her family as they unravel terrifying secrets about their lineage after the death of her secretive mother. As the tension escalates, nightmarish visions and eerie occurrences push the family toward a horrifying revelation. Hereditary doesn't rely on traditional horror tropes. Instead, it weaves an atmosphere of dread, amplifying the horror with unnerving imagery, slow-burning suspense, and a powerhouse performance from Toni Collette. The film taps into the terror of inherited trauma and the inescapability of fate, proving that sometimes the most horrifying demons aren't external, but lie within bloodlines. At number 8, we have The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974, a film so disturbingly realistic that it feels less like a scripted movie and more like a documentary of pure terror. Loosely inspired by the real-life crimes of serial killer Ed Gein, the film follows a group of friends who find themselves in the clutches of a sadistic family of cannibals. Among them is the infamous Leatherface, a hulking figure who wields a roaring chainsaw with terrifying brutality. What makes The Texas Chainsaw Massacre so harrowing isn't excessive gore, but its relentless psychological dread. The grainy, documentary-style cinematography adds to the film's raw, unfiltered terror, making the viewer feel trapped in the same nightmarish ordeal as the characters. From its nerve-wracking tension to its iconic, skin-crawling final scene, this film has cemented itself as one of the most terrifying horror experiences ever put on screen. At number 7, we have It, 2017, a film that proves clowns are anything but funny. Based on Stephen King's iconic novel, this adaptation introduces a new generation to Pennywise, a shape-shifting entity that preys on children by exploiting their deepest fears. From the opening scene where Pennywise lures little Georgie into a storm drain with a deceptively friendly smile before brutally dragging him into the darkness, it's clear this is no ordinary horror film. The story follows a group of outcast kids known as the Losers Club as they face their worst nightmares while uncovering the horrifying truth about their town's dark history. What sets Joss T apart is its ability to blend supernatural horror with psychological depth, making the fear feel personal and deeply unsettling. Pennywise's eerie presence, coupled with haunting visuals and moments of sheer terror, ensures that after watching this film, you'll never look at a red balloon the same way again. Coming in at number 6, we have Insidious, 2010, a film that proves that sometimes the scariest things aren't in our world, but in the one beyond. Directed by James Wan, this supernatural thriller follows a family who moves into a new home, only to find their son inexplicably falling into a deep coma. As paranormal disturbances escalate, they discover that his consciousness is trapped in a sinister dimension called the Further, a realm where malevolent spirits and demons lurk in the shadows, waiting to possess the living. Insidious is packed with eerie visuals, an unsettling sound design, and some of the most terrifying jump scares in horror history, including the infamous red-faced demon lurking behind Patrick Wilson's character. Unlike typical haunted house films, Insidious doesn't just show ghosts in hallways. It drags you into their world, making the horror feel inescapable. At number 5, we have A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984, the film that introduced one of the most legendary horror icons of all time, Freddy Krueger. Unlike most horror villains, Freddy doesn't attack his victims in the real world. He haunts their dreams, turning sleep into a death sentence. With his grotesquely burned face, razor-sharp glove, and sadistic humor, Freddy is the kind of monster who lingers in your mind long after the credits roll. Directed by Wes Craven, the film masterfully blurs the lines between dreams and reality, creating a sense of paranoia where nowhere feels safe, not even your own bed. A Nightmare on Elm Street isn't just a slasher, it's a surreal nightmare that keeps you questioning whether you're truly awake. Taking the number 4 spot is The Exorcist, 1973, a film widely regarded as one of the most terrifying movies ever made. Based on the real-life case of a possessed child, this horror classic follows Regan, a young girl who begins exhibiting disturbing behavior after playing with a Ouija board. As her condition worsens, manifesting in eerie voices, grotesque body contortions, and horrifying supernatural occurrences, her desperate mother seeks the help of 2 priests to perform an exorcism. From its shocking imagery to its bone-chilling sound design, The Exorcist is a film that gets under your skin. Even decades after its release, it remains one of the most unsettling cinematic experiences ever created. At number 3, we have The Shining, 1980, a psychological horror masterpiece directed by Stanley Kubrick. This slow-burning nightmare follows Jack Torrance, a writer who takes a job as the winter caretaker of the isolated Overlook Hotel. As the hotel's dark history begins to unravel, Jack's mind descends into madness, turning him against his own family. Jack Nicholson's chilling performance, coupled with Kubrick's haunting cinematography, creates a film that is as visually striking as it is psychologically disturbing. The eerie atmosphere, unsettling music, and iconic scenes like the ghostly twins in the hallway and the infamous "Here's Johnny" moment solidify The Shining as one of the greatest horror films of all time. At number 2, we have Halloween, 1978, the film that pioneered the modern slasher genre. With its eerie simplicity, Halloween follows Michael Myers, a silent, relentless killer who escapes from a psychiatric hospital and returns to his hometown to continue his reign of terror. The film's creeping tension, combined with its hauntingly iconic piano theme, creates an atmosphere of pure dread. Unlike many horror films, Halloween doesn't rely on excessive violence. Instead, it builds suspense with its slow, methodical pacing, proving that sometimes the scariest things are the ones you don't see coming. And finally, at number 1, the scariest horror movie of all time, The Ring, 2002. This psychological nightmare revolves around a cursed videotape that dooms anyone who watches it to die within 7 days. The film's slow-building tension and unsettling visuals create a sense of dread that lingers long after the movie ends. But the most terrifying moment? When Samara, the vengeful ghost, crawls out of the television screen in a jerky, unnatural motion, a scene so horrifying that it changed horror cinema forever. And that wraps up our list of the top 10 scariest horror movies of all time. Did your favorite make the cut? Or is there a horror film that haunts your nightmares that we missed? Let us know in the comments. And if you love all things horror, don't forget to like and subscribe for more terrifying content. Until next time, keep the lights on. You never know what might be lurking in the dark.